So here's the tool from last time, made by KD Tools. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, right up here. KD Tools. And it's kind of a, what I think it is, or what I would use it for, is to separate panel clips. In automotive situations, you have clips that hold things and they pop in, and this will separate them. Another way to do it, of course, is to just use a screwdriver and start to pry, but this can damage because it's prying against two things that are maybe holding the clip instead of actually prying the clip, the panel fastener, apart. So that's what that is. These are pretty useful. Okay, E38 starter. This is Rock Auto. I'm just doing an opening thing. Done. I can work two-handed. Yeah. Made in China. Power Select. I know there are BMW purists that are not happy with this decision, but let's see. Installation guide. I'll read this for sure. Let's try to get this out of here. There it is. So here's something interesting. They included a test sheet with this, and it's even dated here. Where's the date? Right here. And so I'll zoom in rather than push in. And so the idea is that it looks as though they are claiming, at least, that each one of these starters has been tested. It says pass. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. So you want to make sure that you loosen with a 10mm wrench, disconnect your battery cable. Okay, folks, so here's the underside of your car, and let's try to find the starter. Here, not here, but here is the lower. If I could put my finger on it and show you there. That's the lower bolt for the starter. The upper one is up here past this connector. Right now you can't see it, and I'm sorry, I apologize for that, but my middle finger right here is touching the bolt. There's a connector here for the right oxygen sensor, right front oxygen sensor. I think there's a right rear one also. That may be in the way. There's that, and it's an E12 star bolt. Let's look at the rest of what's going on here. Now, you can see just how buried this starter. I'm trying to go slow here and be steady. You can see just how buried it is. There it is there. There's the back end of it. There was a plastic cap that I popped off. There's the main power connector, the big 12 volt. There's a connector here, and there's one here. And there's the wire that goes to the starter from the solenoid and drives the starter. Way up here are the heat shield connector bolts that are on the back of this heat shield, but next to it, next to the heat shield, is a splash shield, and there are two bolts up here. There's one, where is it? There. And there's one over in here. And the splash shield has to apparently come out first. Let's go back. Let's pull down and go back to that splash shield. And this is crazy, I know. Here's this end of this splash shield here. There's a bolt. Let's see, there's one here, here, there's one around the corner right here, and there's one here, and then those two bolts in the front, and I believe this whole splash shield pulls out. Here are some tools I have. I'm going to try it with with the standard 3/8 drive. And this, I tried it with a wobble and a long extension, but this actually seemed to work. I was able to loosen it. There's the E12. But let me show you how this goes in, if I can. Others have said they've used like a 3-foot long socket. I haven't been able to make that work, but I can show you that this actually does loosen that. And I've loosened that bolt already, and it wasn't hard. It was about maybe 20 foot-pounds. I didn't really need the extension bar. The other one, I was able to bring this up, way up in here, and I can't do it very well, but way up in here I was able to get this wrench up and then turn it, click, hold the head of it with my other hand, and then loosen this one click at a time. Let's see. There, right here is the heat shield. This comes off next. So let's see how I can get that off. Two bolts in the back, which is actually the front. You can see right up here the 2 bolts. Where are they? Right up here. And I get up in there. Hey, one came right off. Very nice. Quite get it. I get my hands up in there. If I can lock it on here. Started to bind up at the end, but I got it off. Where is it? There it is. If I can reach it, it's right up in here. There, right there. I'm tapping it with my blackened finger from the black glove. All right, let me see if I can get the 10 millimeter up in there. This back in here. And then this goes up here. Oh, you know what it is? Oh, wait a minute. I think it's an 8. And I had the 10 on. Or did I have? I don't know. This feels like it might have been. No, that was a 10. So it came back off the starter. Now I gotta fish it out through this hole. And it came out. Whew. 10 millimeter. A fair amount of white corrosion coming off this nut. More white corrosion coming out. There's that nut. We'll clean this all up. Here's that lower power, the big power guy. Yeah, that far side looks like an 8. Yeah, it looks like it's an 8. There it goes. If I can get the wires actually off of it and moved out of the way. Yep, there goes one. Out of the way. Here goes the other. Okay, now the starter is actually clear, but it's not out. So So I'm going to take the bolts that hold the starter off, which people say is the hardest thing. Well, let's give it a try. Yeah. Here's the rig that I've got on my electric. The E12 and the double. Let's see if that works, or if I need more, or maybe I can't quite get access. Yeah, I got it loose, but I wanna, if I can, leave it in the hole. I'm not gonna take it out. I'm just gonna leave it loose in the hole. So even though this starter was loose, I had removed the top and bottom bolts, it wouldn't come out. I grabbed it and tried to wiggle it, and it was frozen in here from corrosion and being in there so long, it just wouldn't come out. So what I did was have this piece of wood, which is a really very hardwood that I've used. Then I used it as a punch from the back of the car, and I used a dead blow hammer, and I pounded really quite hard, and it very slowly popped this out. So I was able to pound, let's see, right about there, right on the base. And let me go wide, make sure I've got a wide shot for you. You can see me try to get it out. Yeah, it's loose. Well, the upper bolt. Oh, the upper bolt is still, no, the upper bolt wasn't. Now I'm moving it toward the front of the car, and I'm snaking it out. Yes, it came out. I'm just getting up here as best I can with sandpaper, because this is not only the mounting surface of the starter, try to get that in focus, but it's also an electrical contact. I think this is where the thing grounds. And there's a lot of white corrosion. I would assume it's aluminum oxide. Okay, I'm gonna wire brush with the Dremel the 3 connectors. Here's the new starter. One of the things I noticed is that this is a 10 millimeter, this is an 8. And I assume it's done that way so that these 2 wires can't be mixed up. I think this is a bigger loop than this, so they wouldn't swap. And because I think this is the grounding surface right here, why not give a thin protective coating there? Takes a minute. Way up in there. And of course I've got it all over my fingers, so I'll smear it nicely. It's way back in here. Well, you saw me sand it before with sandpaper. This is very similar, but I'm putting a very light smear, or if you like bagels, a schmear of dielectric grease. There we go. Up in this way, back toward the front of the vehicle. Let me see if I can give you a better view of what I'm doing here. Maybe I can, I don't know. Trying my best. Still rolling. Well, this is kind of one-handed. No, that's a two-hander. Straightforward. Oh, I got it upside down. That'll never do. Can I turn it? Oh, it's in there. Yep. Upside down is not gonna make it a solenoid. Nice. Went right in. I don't know where the screws go, but the solenoid is on the bottom. I'm going to see if I can get the bottom screw started by reaching the other side. Got the bottom screw started. No, did I? Did I? Can't tell. I think I did. So I wiggled it around. I got the bottom one started. I'm just gonna, drive it in a little bit, and then I'm gonna try and get that top one started. And once again, I don't know how well I'm gonna be able to do this and videotape it to your satisfaction. My guess is probably not at all to your satisfaction, because here's a gap. Here's a gap right here in the bodywork. You can at least see that connector right here. I'm going to go up above that with my hands and see if I can get the top one to be happy. All right, so what was I doing? I got the starter in like this. This is down, let's say. This is down. And I was able to reach up with my right hand, feel this nut here, and do this. And then I had to rock it because it wasn't tight. It couldn't tighten all the way because instead of being here, it was kind of like this. So I had to rock it. And I got this all the way up till it stopped. There are the two bolts. This one is part of the trans. This is the one I'm going to tighten now. That's pretty tight. The top one just needs to be snug. Here's the tool for next time. What is it? What does it do? I know you're saying, hey, that's just a pair of vice grips. That's just a pair of locking pliers. Well, it is. They are locking pliers. They're not vice grips, which I believe is a brand name. These do something differently than locking pliers, the common locking pliers that you'll find. And they also have, there's something about them that can be quite painful. See you next time.